This is the Peter Greenwood Show at the Edinburgh Fringe, and I've got a guest to my immediate left.
Yeah, hello.
Left.
Hi.
Could you tell me your name and your show title, please?
My name's Milo Edwards, and my show is called Catamaran. It's on at Cabvol every day at 5:15 p.m.
How are you today, Milo? Are you well?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm settling in.
Yeah?
That's where I'm at.
This isn't your first Fringe, is it?
No, God, this is like Fringe 10 or something.
Wow, that's more. This is my 7th Fringe, so I have much to learn from you. Tell me your secrets.
Well, I don't know about that. I started in 2013. That was my first one. Right. But I have missed a couple. So, yeah, I reckon it's about 10. That's what I would guess.
My first Fringe was 2019, and I had such a good time, and I met all these people, and I was like, yeah, that's great. I'll do it next year in 2020, and...
Yeah, some global events occurred.
Something happened. I don't know if you heard about it. It was in the news once or twice.
Something about a guy getting a bat.
Yeah.
Something like that. It wasn't a cricket bat.
Nope.
No.
And it wasn't Aussie. He had an alibi. So let's talk Catamaran. What is Catamaran? Where did it come from?
So I unearthed this box of my parents' letters from the 1980s. My dad was working in Hong Kong. My mum and dad used to write to each other. They're both dead. And so I decided to read these letters, and they turned out to be both, number one, devastatingly horny, and also number two, there's a lot of reference to this insane business partner that my dad had in Hong Kong called Jim, who owned a catamaran. And so I really went on a deep dive on this man and his catamaran. And the show is primarily about my parents, but the catamaran is a fun little narrative that we've woven through.
Not to be confused with Catman, by the way. You didn't come in here dressed like Michelle Pfeiffer or anything.
I did not, no. I mean, I've had a lot of cease and desist from Michelle Pfeiffer's people about that, so I've had to stop doing it, regrettably.
Halle Berry, though, quite into it from what I understand.
Yeah, Halle Berry. I mean, it's a riskier get-up for me as Halle Berry, I think. Yeah.
So... one of the things I think I was most curious about is you found these letters from your parents, and you kind of touched on it. They were incredibly horny.
Yes.
And when did you say it was? The 1980s?
1980s, yeah. They run from about 81 to 92. So
in those days, we didn't really have text or email or anything, so the only way to get your feelings across was a letter. What if... You know what I'm trying to ask? What was it like reading that about your parents? Yeah, especially after they're not here anymore.
Well, I think that's better, actually. You don't want to be reading your alive parents' horny letters. I think that could sour the dynamic. Yeah. I think, well, I should say that in a weird sort of way, the horny stuff was the least jarring, because you're sort of like, well, I do understand that they must have had sex at least once. That we do know. But the letters themselves are like, I think my parents are sort of, especially my mum, they're sort of such different people then. And they're quite different to the people I knew. My dad more resembled, I think, 'cause my dad's sort of like, he's about my age, he's like kind of like mid-30s. And I think your personality is a bit more set by then. Whereas my mum is like in her sort of mid to late 20s and is very sort of like girlish. I think that doesn't really chime with how I remember my mum at all. And so that was kind of like the weirder part, actually. And the sexy stuff was just a bit like, I mean, you don't really want to read it about your parents, but you're also like, I do understand that they must have had a sex life, so it's not as shocking in some ways.
In some ways, you kind of expect it, because as you said, they must have done it at least once.
Yeah, you'd hope.
Yeah, so you kind of think, okay, that's fine, I can understand that. But you say your mum was quite girly compared to when you knew her. What kind of form did that take? And if your parents now knew that you'd read their letters, how do you think they would react to that?
I don't know. I mean, it's sort of an interesting question in that I don't think... It's not a show I would do if they were alive. I think it's the only... And it sort of takes on a different character. Like, I think I've had people ask me, like, oh, how do you feel about, like, reading out this, like, private stuff from your parents to audiences? And I'm kind of like, well, they're dead. Like, I mean, you can't libel the dead. I think you can't embarrass them either. And I think it is done with a... It's done with a sort of a gentleness that I think is fine. But I mean, I think, it would be weird to do if they were alive. And yeah, my mum, like my memories of her growing up, I mean, her and my dad ran this business together. And my mum was always like quite like tough. Like she was definitely, my dad was like the soft touch around the office and my mum was like the enforcer. And so it is sort of funny to see her in this stage of being like kind of like unsure of herself and like nervous. And, you know, she's writing to my dad about how she's like so lonely or whatever. And it's kind of like, it doesn't really remind me of my mum, whereas my dad is more kind of like, I'm like, yeah, that's the man I knew. He's trying to get a rhubarb crumble in a Japanese restaurant in Hong Kong. Yeah, I recognise that man.
Did you get a rhubarb crumble?
He did not, no.
I am both saddened and also not surprised.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the Japanese staff are incredibly apologetic about that. You know, someone had to kill themselves after that, I'm sure.
Well, there's a bit the audience won't hear. Was there anything that really shocked you? Like, at that age, was their relationship solid, or was there ever like, I don't know, this is a bit long, and how did you react to that?
I think they're really like sickeningly in love throughout the letters. It's which again, objectively it's good, but sometimes you're a bit like, you're laying it on a bit thick here, guys. Come on,
yeah.
I'm trying to get some narrative here, and this is all like sweet nothings. Let's get to the juice. Tell me about Jim Locke's Catamaran. That's what I want to hear about.
I was just about to ask that. Speaking of the Catamaran,
yeah,
how much did you find out about it? And I'd hesitate to ask the question because it might be in the show. Where is the Catamaran in 2026? Do you know?
Well, I wasn't able to track it down, nor was I able to track down Jim Locke himself, a man who has disappeared without a trace. But I did find out what the name of the Catamaran is.
What was the name of the Catamaran?
I discovered by ringing people that the name of the Catamaran was Inshallah. And I was like, it could not have been named anything better.
That is an excellent name for a Catamaran.
Yeah. And the guy who told me this couldn't understand why I thought it was so funny. And he was like, it means God willing. I'm like, I know what it fucking means, Roger.
Yeah.
That's not the issue.
Yeah. In fact, it says that. And this is a thing I want to do. Come on, Roger, keep up.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there anything you had to leave out because audiences wouldn't believe it, or it was a bit too just not in the tale? What things would you like to have included?
There's loads of stuff I left out. I mean, most of it. A lot of the letters is actually quite mundane. It's daily chit chat, whatever, because they're writing to each other a lot, and obviously there's not that much going on. So that stuff I've left out. There's also a lot of stuff that's like maybe quite interesting to people in my family, because it's but it's very like inside baseball. Like, you'd have to do so much explanation to make it interesting to an audience.
Right.
So I've had to sort of whittle down what's interesting. I've actually been cutting a little bit while I've been here, because the show has been a little bit too long, and so I've been just kind of like removing the inessential letters and trying to pare it down to like, okay, that one's a bit repetitious of that one, so we can lose that. So I've cut out some stuff that is funny, just because it's like, it's not necessary to the show.
And how has other family seen the show, and how do they react to it?
I think so far of family, only my dad's younger brother has seen it, and he really liked it. So, but he's a fan, He's a reliable audience member. So that's one ticket sold.
Yeah, as he should be, which is always good. Like, it's a long run here at Edinburgh. One ticket is one ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, he actually said, because he was like, oh, well, your dad was always quite like, quite sort of like closed off, quite private. And he's like, and I always he's like, I wanted to know your dad a bit better, but I never really did. And he was like, so it's quite interesting actually watching the show. And he's like, I didn't know Keith was into that, like, this kind of stuff. So I think he found it quite enlightening.
And what's happened to the rest of the letters? Have you kept them, or will they be maybe?
Yeah, I've still got the archive. I think my sisters should read them, because also I'm not born at any point during the letters. So
okay, so you're just a twinkle.
Yeah, because I was born in '93, so just after the letters stop, and so the letters actually, they refer to my sisters and my brother quite a lot, and so I think they would probably get quite a lot out of it, because it's sort of a bit more of a document of stuff they would remember, whereas for me I'm a little bit more removed from it. Doing a bit of sort of archaeology on the family.
Was there ever a moment when you were going through the letters and they were like, well, we got these sisters, we got this one boy, what about another one? And one of them was like, no, absolutely not.
Well, this actually comes up a lot in the letters.
Really?
Like, from about 1982, my dad is trying to convince my mum to have another baby, and all of my siblings were already born, so this baby can only be me.
Right.
And so, it takes him about 11 years to convince her to do that, but he does get there in the end.
At least he got there.
Exactly, yeah, he did manage it. And
I'd just be sitting talking to an empty chair if you didn't.
Well, yeah, and therefore I am doing, you'd be like Clint Eastwood with Obama.
Exactly. Do you remember that? That was fucking crazy, wasn't it?
That was really mad, yeah.
And when you look back on all the things that's happened since then, it's like, is this the maddest? Not really, but it's also batshit.
Yeah, it's not even close. That's the thing, is every year has gotten crazier than... There's an American political commentator called Matt Chrisman, who did a tweet in 2017 that was like, it was on Trump's first inauguration. He said, this is the dumbest day in American history, a record which will be beaten by every subsequent day of American history. And I don't think anyone has ever been more vindicated than him on that one.
Yeah, that's some Nostradamus type shit right there. Just
yeah, absolutely. Trump's first term feels like halcyon days compared to Trump's second term.
It's definitely gone downhill. Like, just when you think there is no more hill, you find another hill.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like mountain climbing. You go up the mountain, there's another climb, but like reverse, so like you're falling down a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. It's no good. It's bad over there.
Yeah, especially because you land in a pile of snow and that, get cold, your toes get wet. Nobody wants cold toes.
You don't want cold toes. Not ideally.
Nobody wants cold toes. Terrible.
I have the warmest toes. I tell everybody, they said, you got the warmest toes. And I say, yes, I know. I'm going to stop that now. So what is next for the show after the Fringe?
So I'm going on tour of Canada in September.
Wow.
But actually not with this show. I'm doing the show that I was doing in Australia, which is like a greatest hits, best of the last 10 years. That's what I'm doing in Canada. And then this show is going on to all over the UK in the autumn, sort of October onwards. And then I'll be doing this show in Australia, New Zealand, hopefully in the spring. Our spring, their autumn, but which is like our summer.
Yeah.
And then
Australia's wild.
Yeah, I love Australia. It's so good.
I've never been. I want to go though.
Oh, you should definitely go. It's like, what if this country was nice? Unfortunately, I have the one job where it's actually better here.
Really?
Yeah, their entertainment industry is just much smaller, and like it's a great place to do like a tour because people have got money and they'll buy tickets, and like it's good. But the only issue is that there's just not that many Australians. I mean, it's like 27 million people or something, and it's a massive country. Whereas here you've got 70 million people in a country, a tenth of the size. So it's just much easier to make money out of comedy here. It's a much bigger market, but it's a lovely place to go for 6 weeks and work. And like, I've got so many great Australian friends. It's a really, really nice place.
That sounds great. Can we do a road trip?
Yeah, absolutely.
Except I can't drive, so you would have to do all the driving. But I will buy the snacks.
Well, that's okay. That's great. I'm pretty good at driving, so yeah, you're safe on that front.
That's excellent. Where can people find out more about you online?
I've got a website, miloedwards.co.uk, and you can follow me on Instagram at Milo_Edwards.
Fantastic. Good luck with the show. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. See you there.
Milo Edwards' Catamaran is playing every day at 5:15 p.m, except the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of August at O'Neill's at Monkey Barrel Comedy. For tickets, visit edfringe.com and search Milo Edwards. Until next time, I've been Peter Greenwood. Bye, everybody, bye.